Hello everybody, it's your principal, Mrs. Nauman. I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about being an engaged reader. There are a lot of different types of readers, and we're going to talk about 3 today, and then I'm going to read you a story and talk to you a little bit more about becoming engaged. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is a resistant reader. Those are people who don't want to read and aren't enjoying it. So when you're a resistant reader, your teacher's job, my job, your parents' job, and your own job is to find a book that you really love and then read more books like that. So instead of during stamina reading time when you're kind of peeking over your book the whole time waiting for the time to end, you're actually reading, because the only way you can become a better reader is to read. The second type of reader I'm going to talk to you about is a compliant reader. A compliant reader is reading because you know Mrs. Nauman and your teacher want you to read, which is great. At least you're reading and becoming a better reader. But I want you to be more than just a compliant reader. So if you're a compliant reader, during stamina reading time, you're reading, but you really can't wait for that time to be over. The last type of reader, my favorite reader, is the engaged reader. Boys and girls, that engaged reader is the one during stamina reading time that cannot wait for their book to end. And even sometimes the engaged readers, when teachers are teaching math or other subjects, they sometimes pick out their book and read a little more. Or as soon as they get in the car, they grab it. And that's what I want for all of you. Mrs. Nauman's an engaged reader. I'm the type that has a book on my phone, my iPad, my nightstand. I read at the gym, at traffic lights. Probably shouldn't be doing that. Anytime I can, I'm reading. And I want you to be the same. And your teachers and I are going to really help you with this. So I'm looking forward to seeing if everybody in the school can become an engaged reader. And your teachers gauge you on those 3 types of reading, and they put it into school pace. And Mrs. Nauman has a big dashboard that I can pull up and see who my engaged, resistant, and compliant readers are. So I'm looking forward to seeing as many engaged readers as I possibly can. Today, to help you get excited about reading, I'm really excited. I'm going to read to you a book called Sparky, and it's about a sloth. And then I'm going to come around this week, or this month, I guess, and bring my book, bring Sparky, and some other books. Sparky. Can you tell what kind of animal that is? It's a sloth. I'm going to read it. This is good. The authors are Jenny Offil and Chris Applehans. Sparky. Sparky is a sloth, a pet sloth. And sloths don't know how to fetch or roll over, but they sure know how to play dead. What's an eager pet owner to do? Sparky. I wanted a pet, a bird or a bunny, or even a trained seal. My mother said no to the bird, no to the bunny, no to the trained seal. I asked her every day for a month until she finally said, you can have any pet you want as long as it doesn't need to be walked or bathed or fed. I made her a promise. Then I went to see the school librarian, Mrs. Kinklebaum, who knows everything in the world, sort of like our Mrs. Levin, the librarian, pointed me to volume S of the Animal Encyclopedia. This is what I found. Sloth. Sloths have been known to sleep more than 16 hours a day. They sometimes hang upside down in trees, barely moving for long periods of time. They survive by eating leaves and drinking the dew that collects in them. It's said that sloths are the laziest animals in the world. My sloth arrived by express mail. He was about the size of a medium-ish dog with a flat nose and a monkey face. My mother wasn't happy, but a promise is a promise, I said. Sparky, I decided, that will be your name. I took him outside to his tree. Sparky went right to sleep. I made a sign and put it under the tree. Guard sloth, enter at your own peril. Wow. It was 2 days before I saw him awake. Look how cute he is. He did know a lot of games, so I taught him some. We played King in the Mountain, and I won. We played hide and seek, and I won. We played Kung Fu Fighter, and I won. We played Statue, and Sparky was very, very good. That weekend, Mary Potts came over to investigate. Let me show you what Mary Potts is like. This is a picture of her room. Best fire drill liner-upper, most likely to chew closed-mouthed in the lunchroom. Excellent in permission slip compliance. She sounds like a rule follower to me. Before she even took off her coat, Mary said, "Let me see your new pet." I had some worries, but I took her out to Sparky's tree. He opened his eyes and looked at us. Then he closed them again. I rubbed his belly, but it was too late. He stood there for a while, watching him sleep, his fur ruffled gently in the breeze. "I feel sorry for you," Mary said. "My cat can dance on her hind legs, and my parrot knows 20 words, including God and ice cream. Sparky knows tricks too," I told her, but she didn't believe me. The next day, I made a poster and nailed it to the tree outside Mary Potts' house. "Trained sloth extravaganza. Countless tricks to mystify you. Just 7 days away." Uh-oh. I hope she's able to pull it off. All week, we trained in secret. Sometimes Sparky slept through practice, and I had to poke him awake. Sometimes he forgot what he was doing, and we had to start over. Sometimes he took so long to fetch that I went inside and had dinner while I waited. I was starting to think the poster had been a mistake, but a promise is a promise. On the day of the trained sloth extravaganza, my mother set up lawn chairs. 3 people came to see Sparky perform. My mother, Mary Potts, and Mrs. Edwin, the crossing guard. Mrs. Edwin approved of Sparky because he never ran in the street. "Do I look like a ringmaster?" I asked my mother. "You look very interesting," she told me. I put a little glitter on Sparky just before the curtain went up. I kept wishing I had written 2 tricks on the poster instead of countless tricks. "Play dead, Sparky," I said. He did. "Roll over," I said. He didn't. "Speak," I commanded. We all waited and waited. "Speak," I said. Sparky looked at me. The only thing you could hear was the wind in the trees. "He has a very pretty coat, doesn't he?" Miss Edwin said finally. "You can't just invent a brand new pet like that," Mary told me. "A pet no one's ever had." My mother came out with lemonade and cookies, but they said they had to be going. Sparky and I watched them. Then my mother made me put the chairs away. Afterwards, I gave Sparky a cookie, but he ate it slowly that I had to take it back again. It was getting dark out, and I looked at him, and he looked at me. You could hear all the neighborhood dogs barking. I reached over and tagged him on his claw. "You're it, Sparky," I said. And for a long, long time, he was. The end. Sparky. Now, boys and girls, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around with my Sparky. Here he is. And he's going to come around with me when we read this month. And I also have a nonfiction book about sloths and another book called Snooze Fest that I'll read at a different time, that I'll come around with me. I also have some little sloth post-it notes to help keep your places in your books that I'll come around with as well. Again, I want you to remember we are looking for you to be not a resistant reader. Whoop, wrong way. Not a resistant reader. No way. Not a compliant reader. Better. But an engaged reader. We want you to love to read books just as much as your teachers and Mrs. Nauman love to read books. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you around. Bye.